suffering, sufferfest, pain cave, drop, hammer, attack, shred, crush. So I don't know about you guys, but when I first got into cycling, I was a little bit surprised and confused by the language that was used by the industry to describe the activity. I mean, why would you want to hurt yourself or hurt someone else or suffer or be in a pain cave? It just doesn't sound very fun or inviting. Maybe it's me. I am particularly sensitive to words and phrases, being a literature major. And after all, this is a YouTube channel that focused on the pronunciation of one specific word for 15 minutes. So the conclusive pronunciation of the word is
pannier.
But all kidding aside, I think the way that we talk about things, the words we use, the phrases we use, makes a huge difference in the type of people that we attract, but also detract. If the dominant vocabulary is all about crushing and conquering your opponent and self-flagellating, yes, it will attract a certain crowd, but for all those people that this kind of language attracts, it also detracts a lot of people, including myself. So before we go any further, I do want to point out what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that the sports side of cycling is terrible and that people should never race. Quite the contrary, I actually enjoy watching the Grand Tours and the classics, and I have my own favorite racers. And through the years, I've become friends with people that put on events and are athletes themselves. And I understand that this is supposed to be aspirational marketing speech about pushing your limits and, really going beyond what you're able to do. And I get it, it works. But where I take issue is when that is the only kind of language and the only kind of cycling that is celebrated by the bike industry, bike brands, whatever. So here's the thing, it would be completely different if this alpha cyclist / self-flagellation was just a portion of the cycling language, but here in North America, it is the dominant language of cycling. It is the status quo. I've been riding bikes for about 20 years, making bike content in various forms for articles, this YouTube channel for at least 15, and I still feel left out of it. Let's look back at 2020 where there were very few races, a ton of new people discovered cycling or rediscovered cycling. It was a massive boom year. And a lot of those people just want to get outside, just want to enjoy a ride, and probably have no interest in the competitive side. But what did most of the cycling media focus on? Everesting. Yes, more self-flagellation. So in this amazing moment where we can welcome all these brand new cyclists, what should we focus on? That's right, something that only a minute fraction of all the cyclists in the world are able to do. Good job, bike industry. However, this did get me thinking if a trend or a word such as Everesting could take off and only a few people could participate. Surely if we came up with another word, which probably more accurately describes the riding that most people do, something celebratory, something non-apologetic, a word or phrase that doesn't automatically assume a competition or hierarchy like the A group or the B group or a Fred. Something that describes a ride where it's okay to stop and take in the scenery and not feel compelled to crush it or shred it. So for me, that word or that phrase has become party pace. It's fun, it's positive, it's a word that doesn't frame itself in the negative of another word, such as the phrase unracer or non-competitive. It simply doesn't apologize. It's how I ride and deal with it. So my big hairy goal for this year and future years to come is to introduce the phrase party pace into the cycling vocabulary. If Everesting can do it, if bike fishing can do it, certainly party pace can do it. And I know some of you are already asking what happened to the supple life. Trust me, my friends, the supple life is not going away. It is essentially the same thing as party pace. But with the phrase supple life, there is a tendency for insider speak. And to fully explain it, I have to go into the short modern history of wide tires, whereas party pace just captures that ethos I'm going for. So to do this, my friends, I need your help, and I'm actually not kidding on this part. If you believe in this kind of riding like I do, start using it when you talk to your other cyclist friends. If you work at a bike shop and you see someone that's hemming and hawing about joining your shop's group ride or riding with a group of friends, just tell them, hey, it's cool, it's chill, it's party pace, you will not get dropped. No one will bring a hammer and drop it on you or something. And of course, if you're on the gram and you do this kind of ride, definitely use the hashtag, and let's enter it into the cycling vernacular. I really want this to be bigger than the channel and give cycling a word to describe a kind of riding that a lot of people enjoy and have been neglected. So you might have noticed there is a neon sign here that says Party Pace. This is the remote control that will turn it on. And I'm actually not going to turn it on until we hit 200,000, just so we can celebrate. I think it's amazing that the channel has grown enough to reach that many people that are also into a similar style of riding. If you scour YouTube, most of the large channels are very focused specifically on the road and competitive, and so this channel is a little bit of an anomaly, and it really wouldn't have been possible without you guys. I mean, you guys know I complain about the comments. I love getting the messages on the gram, or the random email, or the random letter that pops up in our PO box that tells us to keep on going on, because it's tough. It's tough to be a different voice in the status quo. To point things out about the industrial road cycling complex is not very popular, and it's really hard sometimes to just continue on. So if it weren't for the viewers, the subscribers, the Patreon supporters that literally keep the lights on, that's a group of people that make this content coming. And by that, I mean in no small way. So when we get there, I want to celebrate with you all, because it truly is a group effort. And I honestly mean that. So let's make it happen. Spread the word, like quite literally spread the word. And until next time, guys, keep riding Party Pace and keep the supple side down.